Skadoosh! It's me, the guy with the hats, when I'm having a bad hair day. You see that? Terrible. I know. Gotta let it grow out a little bit. So, Zendikar Rising. That's right. This is the stuff you came to see. We're going to jump right into it. Some really, really big, powerful cards. The lands, the mythic lands, that also can be an instant or sorcery, yada, yada, yada. Watch out for these, man, because I'm telling you, they're going to see a heck ton of play. Might even be busted kind of mechanics here. So we got the World Sculptor, Phylath. That's right, 6-drop in Gruul colors. Legendary creature elemental. This one looks fun. When a Sculptor enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each basic land you control. So that's a downside. You got to have basic lands. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put 4 +1/+1 counters on target plant you control. Being that it's on a 5/5, it's not going to be that easy to remove. And I like the fact that every time a land enters a battlefield, this landfall stuff can get out of control really quick. You're going to be putting 4 +1/+1 counters on one of these plants you control. Problem is, if your opponent wipes all your plants or something like that, or you have no plants, well, then you're kind of in trouble. Just throwing it out there. So, interesting card, 6-drop. Yeah, it's definitely going to see play, but I'm very curious how it's going to shape in the meta. It is a legendary creature, mind you, at that. Cool art. We'll see. We will see what it does. All right, next we got this one. I think is pretty. Oh, not this one. There's another one. It's close to this. So here's Murasa Sproutling. Now you're like, I don't care about this card, Joey. 2 green, creature, plant, elemental. So we got quite a few elementals in this set. Kicker, 1 colorless and a green mana. You may pay an additional 1 green as you cast this spell. There you go. That's what Kicker is for those of you a little newer to the game. When Murasa Sproutling enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target card with Kicker from your graveyard to your hand. So yeah, if you're going the whole Kicker route, guys, then I don't see why not. You wouldn't want something like this. More budget kind of friendly stuff, but this is only a 3-drop and a 3/3 at worst, you know. So you could definitely make something happen with this, and it allows you to at least keep stuff coming back from your graveyard. If only it was in the hand. Not in the hand and onto the battlefield. That would be pretty cool, but unfortunately it's not that way. Still a pretty cool card in the uncommon slot. Then we have Kargan, Intimidator. Yeah, if I saw a big old warrior dude swinging that kind of sword at me, I'd be a little intimidated myself. So he's a deuce drop, which is always cool. Look exciting in red. Cowards can't block warriors. Cowards. Why would you want an army of cowards anyway? I'm just curious, man. So for 1 colorless, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Got to pay the 1. Kargan Intimidator gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Okay. Target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. There may be a reason you want to do that. Target warrior gains trample until end of turn. It's only a 2-drop, guys. Something to consider. And also, it does have these sort of pump effects, but you can't really pump them more. You know, it's not like fire breathing where you can just keep going and going and spending. You can only spend, you only get the 3. You know, you get 1 of each. Choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Is what it is. So I don't know how good it's going to be. Again, it's only got 1 toughness, man. That is pretty weak sauce, you know. We're going to find out what it's capable of. It's okay. I'll give it like a C. All right, Cinderclasm and Lol Mages Familiar. Both cool cards. The first one, Cinderclasm, is a deuce drop. Kicker, 1 red mana. Cinderclasm deals 1 damage to each creature. If it was kicked, it deals 2 damage to each creature instead. That's not bad. We are losing a little sweeper. That's a 3-drop in in standard right now. What was it? The one that deals 2 damage to everything. Flame Sweep. There you go. And but not creatures with flying you control. So this thing is kind of replacing that, sort of. You know, it's a cool little sweeper for low to the ground. If you're going up against aggro, you know, it might want to be a sideboard thing. Again, we got to wait to see how the meta all shapes up. But yeah, this card could see some play. It's going to see play for sure. Lol Mages Familiar is a 3-drop. Add a green or blue mana to your mana pool. On a 2/4. On a 2/4 for 3, that's pretty good. Get a little dork here. A pretty powerful dork, you know. 2/4. That's not bad. A little tough dork. And then whenever you cast a kicked spell, You gain 2 life. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, late game, why not? You know, this is a good card to have down there. You're doing a whole lot of kicking and cracking around, you know. You got some other stuff that reduces casting costs of your kick spells. This thing could be all right. I don't know if kicker builds are going to be competitive, but it's something to keep an eye on. And the ability to ramp. Also, the 4 toughness really is a sell for me because there's a lot of stuff that deals 3 damage, you know, or 2 damage, you know, like lightning strikes. Or, well, there's not a lightning strike in this, but we'll get to a card very similar to that, or in your shocks and all that kind of stuff. So, interesting card. Then we have the Blight, and we got the falconer. So this one's pretty different. Enchantment Aura. So you're going to enchant a land. Already it's got a nice perk, because when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. For 2 mana, just draw a card. There you go. What does it do? Enchanted land loses all land types and abilities, which is good, and has tap, add a colorless, tap, and tap, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. So this could be a good card, maybe a sideboard card, really. But for you to strip that from your opponent and force them, if they need a specific mana color, they're going to have to pay 1 life for that. That's pretty legit. The card draw is nice as well. We got to see what other lands we're going to be dealing with here, though. Then we got Merfolk Falconer, which is a 5-drop flying. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you get a Scry 2. It's a 4/4, guys. It's a 5-drop. It's cool. It's got flying, though. I guess maybe a top end for some of your kicked decks that revolve completely around the kicker. I could maybe see playing this, but I don't know. We'll see again. Definitely a bomb and limited for sure if you've got more kick spells that you draw, you know. We'll see what happens. Then we have Thieving Skydiver. This one I like. It's a 2-drop, 2/1 flyer, and it's got a kicker for X, which we don't always see that often, so that's pretty cool. You may pay an additional X as you cast this spell. X cannot be 0. When Skydiver enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you gain control of target artifact with converted mana cost X or less. If that artifact is an equipment, attach it to Thieving Skydiver. So maybe a sideboard card, unless we are seeing just artifacts being played out in everyone's deck, which is a possibility. There's a common card that's going to see a bit of play as well. That's an artifact. But just being that it's a 2/1 flyer, it is evasive, you know. It's got the flying stuff and all that goodies. I like that, though, because you can attach it right away to this creature. Gain control of target artifact with converted mana cost X or less. Here's a weird question. Can you just gain control of your own card, of your own artifact equipment? It doesn't say target opponents. So, I mean, but you already have control of it, you know. Would that, you know, you see what I'm saying there? Could I just do that? Maybe. I don't see why not. Depends on the rulings. We're going to find out more about that card in a little bit. I will get back to you guys on this one in another video. This I like a lot. If I'm not mistaken on the ruling here, Iridescent hornbeetle is a 5-drop. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each +1/+1 counter you've put on creatures. You've put on creatures under your control this turn. So I know the Ozolith. It doesn't say you're putting it. You're moving you're moving the +1/+1 counters, right? Ozolith. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. So the creature dies, it goes on the Ozolith, or if it's exiled, it goes onto the Ozolith. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. Would it technically be putting them on the creature? I know it says moving, and Magic is very verbatim with things. If this does apply, this is a powerhouse combo right here, especially with like the Garenbrig dude, you know. He can team up with this. Anything that enters the battlefield with +1/+1 counters. But I cannot be certain because I know the text is very specific. If you're moving them, but still it's being put onto it. I mean, they're moving, but you're still putting these +1/+1 counters on that creature. It's a coin toss right now if it would apply. But if it does, this is definitely going to be some really fun synergy and a great place for the Ozolith to shine. So then we have Inscription of Ruin, which is a 3-drop sorcery. It's a rare. It's got a kicker for 4. So holy crap, you want to use that kicker without any reductions to it. It's going to cost you 7 to use the kicker effects here. Choose 1. If the spell is kicked, choose any number instead, which is pretty cool. Target opponent discards 2 cards. It's not bad. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Better make sure it's worth it. Really good 2-drop. And then destroy target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. That's pretty good, but the stuff it does is kind of weak sauce. I mean, I'm just saying, like, destroy target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. What's your opponents going big? They don't got anything like that, you know? Then this thing kind of fizzles out at the end. And you have to be having small creatures. So maybe like in a sacrifice kind of build, you throw this up in there. Could be good. Target opponent discards 2 cards. That's great. You're keeping your opponent light-footed. They don't have a heavy hand. I mean, decent late game, especially if your opponent's drawing a bunch of cards, I guess. Who knows what'll happen with it, but there's a lot of options on here. There's a lot of value on this card as well. So we will see what that's all about. Then we have, here's a crazy one, Seagate Reborn, Seagate Restoration. These lands are dangerous, my friends. Very dangerous. It looks like the pattern here is they're all going to cost 7 for whatever else they do. I think so far they're all been sorceries, but Blue Boy, oh yes. As Seagate Reborn enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So yeah, these are like really like powerful shock lands, you know, like, well, you got to pay more, not more powerful, but you got to pay more. They're more powerful because on the flip side over here, you pay that 3 life, which is really not that huge of a deal. Let's say you don't want a land right now. It's late game. You're doing some things. You want to kick the crap out of your opponent. Well, here you go. 7-drop. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand plus 1. You have no max hand size the rest of the game. Whoa, man. That is sweet. I really like these lands. I just hope they stay up. I hope they don't change the ruling on this or anything, because 3 life, it's a decent amount. Maybe you only have 3 life left. Maybe you got 2 life. Who knows? You know, but if you're going to be running this card, chances are, you know, it's in a control deck for sure, you know. And Seagate Restoration is really where you're going with this. You're not going to care so much about the land, you know. But if you need it, you got it, baby. So pretty cool. Then we have Merfolk Falconer, which I already talked about, and Attended Healer. Did we talk about Falconer? Yeah, we sure did. The Healer is pretty neat. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. It's a 4-drop though, guys. For 3, another target cleric gains lifelink until end of turn. If you got a really big, bulky, friggin' huge cleric, who knows? I'm pretty sure Orzhov clerics are going to be a powerhouse. We're going to see how good they are. It's on a 2/3 body. Decent. Inscription of Ruin, a whoopsie-doodle. Moraug, Fury of Akoum is a 6-drop. This thing is nuts, all right? Each creature you control gets +1/+0 for each time it has attacked this turn. You're probably thinking, what? That's stupid. Let's go to the next part here. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. That's a pretty nice little perk there. You're going to be able to beat down your opponent. And I like the fact it's a Minotaur. It is a legendary, though, so you can't have multiples of this out, because if you could, holy crap. But there are cards out there, you know, in other formats where you can make copies of this and it's not legendary. That would be ridiculous, but that's also really late game. More for the meme kind of decks. I'm sure we'll be making those on Arena. You better believe it. Really powerful. That's a powerful card, man. That's a 6/6. Don't mess around with that thing. No other abilities, no trample, no haste, nothing nuts, but that alone, that landfall ability is pretty good. I dig it. Then we have Hagra Bite, okay? 2 colorless and 2 black instant. If any opponent controls no basic land, this spell costs 1 less to cast. It could happen. You know, it could happen. Destroy target creature. I don't think it's going to happen that often, though, in this meta. That's just my opinion. But, I mean, because of how all the lands are designed in this, and we are losing a bunch of sets just for standard-wise, you know, interesting. Destroy target creature. Pit, land. Hagra Pit enters the battlefield tapped. There you go. Destroy target creature. So for 3. But you can also get a land out of the deal. It does come in tapped. Maybe another format. I don't know if other formats really want this. I think they kind of would, just because of how it reads there, you know. If they control no basic land, because there's other formats that they run. Everything is non-basics, you know. So maybe something you'd play. But man, it's such a drag that it enters tapped. What are you gonna do? Then we have Spare Supplies, which is pretty legit, and Royal Eruption for Deuce. This common artifact's not bad. Enters the battlefield tapped, okay? When Spirit Supplies enters the battlefield, draw a card. That's cool. And then for 2, you can just get rid of it and draw a card. Remember, it does come in tap, though, so you have to wait till your next turn unless you have a way to untap this, which there's ways to do it. But that's not bad. You're getting 2 card draws for the price of 2 on this. Well, 4 all in all. But there's cards that like having, you know, just stuff on the battlefield, you know, where you benefit from that. So that's something to consider. Royal Eruption, Deuce Drop, Kicker for 5. It deals 3 damage to any target. If it was kicked, 5 damage. Bada bang, that's going to see play. It's any target, not just a planeswalker, not just a player, opponent, not just a creature. Any target. I like it. I want some more of it. I like it. It's basic. It's good stuff. Rolls off the tongue nice. We got Takedown here. Enters the battlefield tapped. You get a planes. On the other side, for 2, Takedown deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature or planeswalker. That's cool. That's going to be really, really neat, especially in limited, and probably even outside of limited too. Not bad. It's legit, man. Then we have the Cliffs and the Fury. Cliffs over here comes in tapped. And then on the other side, Fury has additional cost to cast this spell. Sacrifice a creature. It's a 3-drop instant. Fury deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. It's kind of like a fling or a thud, you know, which is pretty interesting. I don't know about this one. I think it's kind of slow, man, but you never know. Maybe there'll be another card that can synergize with this pretty legit. We will see what happens. I like it. Then we have Cragplate baloth. 7-drop. I don't think this card's anything good. Now, usually when I say that, Joey Moss is wrong. The good thing is, I mean, with ramp, yeah, if you can get this thing out turn 4, whoa boy. Downside, it doesn't have trample, so I don't like that already. The spell can't be countered, which is really good, hating on blue. Definitely a sideboard card at worst. Hexproof and haste. Comes right out. Boom, swing away. Hexproof. Can't be targeted, man. That's legit. By spells your opponent's control. If Cragplate baloth was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Now you got a 10/10. I mean, as long as you can just have this thing hit with trample, that's pretty legit. That one Garrett card, it's a 3-drop. You know, when a creature with 4 or greater enters the battlefield, when a creature with 4 or greater enters the battlefield, power 4 or greater, you end up drawing a card. That's pretty hot. But also, it gives it trample. All creatures you control have trample, so that's something to think about. I'm sure I'll be running this in that kind of a deck. But at worst, again, a good sideboard card and hate on blue. A lot of hate in this set for sure. Here's a big boy. Okay, Shatterskull, the Hammer Pass. At first, I was like, this card's not that great. But then you just think about it, man. You pay 3 life. What does red want to do? They want to burn, 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 and they want to go really, really fast. So you're paying the 3 life. Whoopity-doo. You get to tap it. Right away for the red mana. If you don't do that, you want to save it in your hand, you got Shatterskull, smashing X and 2 red mana. Smashing deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. Not so great, but then if X is 6 or more, Shatterskull smashing deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them instead. Yeah, I mean, this can replace other cards easily. The only problem with this card, the only problem I don't like about this card, you already know what I'm going to say. It doesn't target players, because if it did, it'd be busted. Yeah, that would really be nuts. But it seems to be a very strong card. Anything, you know, with the X cost in red, usually if it's a mythic, you got something really good on your hands. And just to flex on these, man, you want to go this route or you want to go this route. What do you need at that time? I think it's going to, probably every red deck's going to be running it, for sure. Really, really, really cool. Only problem is, what if your opponent doesn't run any creatures or planeswalkers? What if they're just going to, no, they will. They probably will. All right, then we have Cinderclasm over here, which we discussed. Cinderclasm deals 1 damage each creature. Oh, we did not yet. If it was kicked, yeah, we already talked about that one. That's it, guys. Sorry, it was a sloppy one today. I was in a little bit of a rush. I do apologize. I'm doing an investigation tonight with my buddy Adamo on channel Ghostatic. So that video should drop like next week sometime. We're trying to get a bunch of content ready for that. So I did promise you a double drop. There you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And also, yeah, I will let you know more about that video closer to the time it does drop. Halloween's coming, so 'tis the season to be haunted. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming. Skadink, skadink, skadoosh.